Welcome to the Awakened Human Podcast, the place to be for highly progressive yet extremely grounded intuitive guidance, energetic support, metaphysical tools, and higher consciousness for highly successful, ambitious, soul-centered visionaries and leaders like you who want to make a global impact and achieve your highest fulfillment by aligning with your soul's true divine agenda and your role in God's plan of lighted creation, and by utilizing your divine gifts, talents, and abilities from the higher realms. We do this by working with the non-physical realms of higher guidance, energy, intuition, and powerful metaphysical tools for healing and transformation. We understand that the real change and transformation that's being called for on planet Earth and in our own lives and our own businesses doesn't come from outside of us, but rather from within. And that the change that we desire to experience in our lives and in our world requires us to change from the inside. I'm your host, Lori Ann Spagna. I'm a best-selling author, spiritual catalyst, intuitive, energy worker, ascension guide, multidimensional channel, animal communicator, visionary, lightworker, and luminary. I have dedicated my entire professional life to helping thousands and thousands of humans and animals all over the world in service and contribution to the light, which is the expansion, the upliftment, the evolution of humanity, to awaken, to uplift, and to align with our true divine source, which exists within each and every one of us. It is my passion, joy, and purpose to share this information, energy, and consciousness with you. Thank you so much for being here today and for sharing time with me. Let's get started. Blessings, beautiful soul. It's me, Lori Ann Spagna, here with you today. I'm so excited to spend this time with you. Thank you so much for being here and for joining me for another version, another episode of the Awakened, Elevated Human. It is great to be with you here today. I am in Massachusetts still, and I am traveling. I have been traveling north for the past 3 months. Oh my goodness. I am getting to the point where I've had enough. I'm looking for my next home. I am trying to figure some things out about it, which I will share more in the future about. But yeah, when you are a super sensitive and when you are outside the norm and the mainstream, looking for right place can either be a calling or an adventure, or maybe a little of both. I'm definitely on an adventure. All right, more about that. But today's episode is all about the guru in you. And I want to talk a little bit about this. It'll probably be a brief episode, but I think it'll be really helpful because one of the things I've noticed from now over 20 years of doing retreats, hosting retreats, live events, speaking at expos and conferences, and really getting in touch with the people who are really more aligned with the service and contribution that I'm here to bring forward is this idea about the guru, because, it's been said, it's not a new concept, but it's like so interesting from all the retreats that I've had is that the people who need me to be their guru or need me to be some version of what they perceive a healer to be, those people are the ones who typically they get most frustrated and most disappointed when they realize that I'm not their guru. Like, I'm not a guru. I don't come forward as a guru. Like, I'm just an everyday person who has figured out, not just with the left brain, beyond the left brain, I have figured out how this reality works with regard to energy and consciousness. And that is a spiritual path. That really is, because the scientific logical mind can never get to this level based on science and logic alone, based on only using the left analytical brain, and certainly not with meditation alone. So I just have really started to step into a level of mastery, but I am not an ascended master. Like a guru, a true guru is a master, an ascended master, but you don't get really near those people, right? Like they live in some ashram or maybe in India or in the Himalayas, or maybe they do live in the United States somewhere, but you definitely don't have interaction with them. And you can't really typically learn from them. And most of the gurus who are really public in the world, first of all, they've had to work through this stuff to some degree or another too. But if they live in some kind of monastery or in some form of place where there's, monks or people who are devoted 24/7 to some form of meditation, spiritual practice every day, you typically don't interact with those people. And they are fortunate to be in those places in a sense because they're not having to interact with the everyday world in the same way. So they can focus on their spiritual growth and their spiritual practice, but they also don't have the benefits of having to interact in the physical world and get their energetics triggered in such a way that they have to learn how to navigate it. Because if I put you in an isolation space, like, where it's only you and a bunch of other monks meditating, it's a way easier, actually, I'm sorry to say, but it is a way easier way to progress in a sense, but you don't interact in the physical world the same way. You don't have the same barriers, challenges, obstacles, hurdles that you have to overcome in the physical world, right? So most of us who are living in the physical world, not only do we not get to interact with gurus on a daily basis, real gurus. I mean, even if you go for 2 weeks or a month, you still have to come back to the physical world, right? So this is the thing. I come into this world with so much of the knowledge, wisdom, and expertise that people who are gurus have developed, but I don't come to you as a guru. I'm coming to you as an everyday person who has navigated so much of that and figured so much of that out that, yes, I'm a student of life the same way you are, if you're choosing to be a student, and also a master of consciousness in the same way that a real guru is, or people who live that kind of lifestyle. And yet, I'm not identifying as a guru because I'm not. I just have a beautiful interwoven ability within me to orchestrate or to navigate in the same way as every other earthly human is, and bring in the consciousness and the energy as an amazing ascending master is learning or navigating, and integrate those into this physical world. So what's the point of that? Saying all that, because here's the thing, if you're looking for a guru, you do need to go to India or somewhere like that, right? A place, I mean, I've passed through lots of monasteries, amazing retreat centers, like Buddhist retreat centers on my journey. There's some, oh my God, the most magnificent one that was in Virginia that I went through, and I did a video there. There's a really fabulous one here. They have them. But the thing is you're not going to be getting coaching, everyday coaching and, interaction, mentorship with people like that, because it's not available. That's not what they offer, right? So my point is, and really where I'm trying to go with this in not such a masterful way, is that you can get there too in this physical world, because you're your guru. Your guru is inside of you. And if you're expecting a guru to be your teacher, they're always going to fall short. This is what I was saying earlier, is that if your teacher or mentor is in the physical world, they're not going to be dressed up like Jesus and Mary in a white robe with a turban around their head. And if they are, they're either also not a guru that they're presenting as. I mean, most likely they're not, right? They're just another person like me who's not a guru, just a person who has navigated this reality and figured out how energy and consciousness works for the most part, and has had to overcome challenges, hurdles, obstacles, just like you, and has somehow demonstrated in this earthly reality a kind of mastery through not just formulas, but understanding universal laws. I mean, I teach a whole class about the universal laws that really elevates us into higher frequencies so that we can create this earthly reality, a life that is more fulfilling overall, that is more rewarding overall for us as individuals, for people that we work with, for animals, for the earth in general, and even if you elevate enough where you can really positively affect the collective, meaning the whole of humanity. And even beyond that, because we know we're not just one earth planet living in isolation, certainly not anymore. Maybe in the 3D reality, but not anymore, right? So when you're looking for your own kind of coach, mentor, or healer, don't expect them to be a guru. Just expect them to be at an elevated space, that they've navigated the reality in such a way that they've elevated themselves, so they can help you elevate yourself too, because the guru is within you, but you have to awaken it from within you and start to attune and align. And don't be disappointed when they have human earthly experiences. I've watched people who were in many of my inner circles, either at my retreats over the years or, came to a lot of my events or classes. And some part of them wanted me to be a guru, but they wanted to be my friend. And if they had the opportunity where eventually over time they'd become my friend, if they needed me to be, if they were one of the people that needed me to be their guru and they realized I was a human with human challenges just like everybody else, they would drop out of my friendship zone quickly. Why? Because they wanted me to be their guru. Or because somewhere in their unconscious, that's what they expected or needed, semi-conscious, somewhat conscious. Or because somehow they really didn't want the human friend, they only wanted the guru teacher, right? These are things worth examining, right? Because whether it's you picking your next teacher, coach, or mentor, or whether it's how you choose friends, or whether it's just what you expect in the world, right? Because here's the thing, and I've been teaching this for years. If the love and light movement expects that everything to be all love and all light all the time, that is a delusional state. And even the thing that I understand with gurus and masters, the reason they put themselves and elevate themselves on a pedestal, like there's been a lot of teachers over the years I've interacted with who do that. I've sat in rooms where like men, okay, it shouldn't be about men, but it's in the cases I'm about to explain, they were always men. They put themselves on thrones and they had tons of people in their audience following them. And then they would do darshan, which is a kind of blessing, energy blessing and healing. And then they would allow, in this case, women, although I don't mean to make it gender-based, but it was in these examples, like kiss their feet. And they felt like, because they were following the tradition of guru, that was perfectly fine. And I'm not saying it's not, but what I am saying is they elevated themselves and they allowed that because they understand the humility of the kissing of the feet. But at the same time, it's like, they're not gurus. Those guys weren't gurus. Those guys weren't gurus. Those guys were just playing a role. And what you didn't see behind the beautiful veil and the outfit and the throne was that those people were going through the same crap that I've had to navigate, and likely that you have to navigate too. That's the problem with making someone a guru, because there are no gurus, not unless they're a real, true guru. And those people, you really don't get you really don't get close to. It's very unlikely, not likely. And when they do teach, those gurus, and there's real gurus out there, but they're teaching to the masses at a very low level of consciousness because they understand that they're here to get to the masses. The masses are being taught the most basic concepts right now. Basic concepts. So if you're a highly progressed person and you want to really progress, you need to get with somebody who's close to that frequency in some way, who's navigated with that kind of mastery, but isn't really at that mastery because they won't be available. really, they're not available unless you go sit in an ashram, and then you don't get up close anyway. I'm using this as an example, and I hope you're getting the point. Give me some latitude here. It's important. The primary message is to not be looking for a guru or expecting a guru, because you're going to grow more when you're near someone who knows they're not a guru, but isn't so far removed from that, has found a way to navigate this earthly reality, including all the energetics associated with it and all the consciousness, and the frequency gaps and the energetic barriers, frequency fences, and understands like all those dimensions of reality, the levels and layers of consciousness that you are, and can know that you are the guru within. And it's important that you remember that even though you yourself are not a guru either, you have a guru within, and that your job is to start to uncover and reveal that to yourself, right? And in this case, the guru, the word I mean by guru is just the inner master, the divine that is awakening through you if you allow it to. That is awakening and aligning and reclaiming its right to operate in you and through you and as you in this earthly world. And that is the brilliance and the magnificence of who you really are. All right, I hope this has been helpful. If not a little windy in terms of its delivery, but hopefully it makes sense and is helpful and supportive. And it certainly can help you to know a little bit more of what it means to work with me, because one of the things I pride myself on is that I don't ever put myself on a pedestal. And yet I do know that I have achieved a level of mastery that is barely been accessed in this earthly world by many, and is available to us if we're willing. And if we allow ourselves to open up to receive it. All right, I hope this has been helpful. I'm going to sign up for now. I'm sending you so much love, and I'm wishing you your most benevolent best. And with that, I'm going to say farewell for now. Okay, bye-bye. Thanks so much for listening today. If you loved the show and if you benefited in any way, if it helped you to up-level or expand your consciousness, if you gained any new insights or ideas, if it made you think or become more aware, or if there were some strategies or intuition that you may have benefited from in any way, would you please do me 2 easy and simple favors? First, if you would be willing to leave a review, it would mean the world to me. I'd be so grateful. And second, if you're willing to share this show with anyone else who would benefit, you can either post it on your social media or just email it to someone and share it with another person or any other people. It would be so awesome. This kind of thing is so helpful in expanding consciousness on the planet and helping others to benefit from this kind of teaching, which just simply isn't generally readily available in the mainstream. So sharing it really helps others benefit and helps our planet evolve and awaken. Plus, expressing gratitude and generosity in this way will also expand your capacity to give and receive even more. Either way, I just want to say thank you so much for being here and for participating and for sharing, and overall, just for being the magnificent, the spectacular, the brilliant, the fabulous, the wonderful you that you truly are, and for allowing yourself to be the very best version of you today and every day. All my love and gratitude to you.